Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajapakadya Ashtottara Sati Srimad Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajapakadya Ashtottara Sati Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki, Nāma Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatti Raghuna, Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatti Dasa Raghuna, Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki. Prem se kaho Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Ki, Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki, Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki, Purushottama Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Jamna Mai Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Srimati Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki, Shri Radha Madhava Ashtasaki Ki, Shri Pancha Tattva Ki, Prahlad Nrsimha Ji, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki, Bhuvana Mangala Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Samagata Bhakti Vrinda Ki. All glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashta Preshabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dharma Jnana Dibhi Saha Kalo Nashta Drishamesha Puranako Dunodita. This morning we're fortunate to be reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 11. Etan nirvidyamānānām icchatām akuto-bhayam yoginām nṛpa Harinam etan nirvidyamānānām icchatām akuto-bhayam yoginām nṛpa nāmānukīrtanam etan nirvidyamānānām icchatām akuto-bhayam yoginām nṛpa nāmānukīrtanam. Please chant. Etan nirvidyamānānām icchatām akuto-bhayam yoginām nṛpa nirṇītaṁ nāmānukīrtanam. Etan nirvidyamānānām icchatām akuto-bhayam yoginām nṛpa nirṇītaṁ nāmānukīrtanam. Etan nirvidyamānānām icchatām akuto-bhayam yoginām nṛpa nirṇītaṁ nāmānukīrtanam. Matajis. Etan nirvidyamānānām icchatām akuto-bhayam yoginām nṛpa nirṇītaṁ nāmānukīrtanam. Very nice, thank you. Any of the Matajis? Etat, it is nirvidyamānānām, of those who are completely free from all material desires. Icchatām, of those who are desirous of all sorts of material enjoyment. Akutāḥ-bhayam, free from all doubts and fear. Yoginām, of all who are self-satisfied. nṛpa, O King, nirṇītam, decided truth. Harer, of the Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Nāma, the holy name. Anu, after someone, always. Kīrtanam, chanting. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the previous verse, the great necessity for attaining attachment to Mukunda has been accredited. There are different types of persons who desire to attain success in different varieties of pursuits. Generally, the persons are materialists who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material gratification. Next to them are the transcendentalists, who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment and thus are aloof from such an illusory way of life. More or less, they are satisfied in themselves by self-realization. Above them are the devotees of the Lord, who neither aspire nor to enjoy the material world, nor desire to get out of it. They are after the satisfaction of the Lord, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. In other words, the devotees of the Lord do not want anything on their personal account. If the Lord desires, the devotees can accept all sorts of material facilities, and if the Lord does not desire this, the devotees can leave aside all sorts of facilities, even up to the limit of salvation. Nor are they self-satisfied because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. In this verse, Sri Shukadeva Goswami recommends the transcendental chanting of the holy name of the Lord. By offenseless chanting and hearing of the holy name of the Lord, one becomes acquainted with the transcendental form of the Lord, and then with the attributes of the Lord, and then with the transcendental nature of his pastimes, etc. Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from authorities. This means that hearing from the authorities is the first essential. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form, about his attributes, his pastimes, and so on, and thus the necessity of chanting of his glories develops successively. This process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but even for those who are materially attached. According to Sri Shukadev Goswami, this way of attaining success is an established fact concluded not only by him, but also by all previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need of further evidence. The process is recommended not only for the progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in their achievement as fruitive workers, as philosophers, or as devotees of the Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami instructs that chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done, and it should be performed offenselessly as well, as recommended in the Padma Purana. One can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself unto the Lord. One can deliver himself from all offenses at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of his holy name. But one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. Such offenses are mentioned in the Padma Purana as being 10 in number. The first offense is to vilify the great devotees who have preached about the glories of the Lord. The second offense is to see the holy name of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is the proprietor of all the universes, and therefore he may be known in different places by different names, but that does not in any way qualify the fullness of the Lord. Any nomenclature which is meant for the Supreme Lord is as holy as the others, because they are all meant for the Lord. Such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by the particular name of the Lord as it is locally understood. They are all auspicious, and one should not distinguish such names of the Lord as material commodities. The third offense is to neglect the orders of the authorized acharyas or spiritual masters. The fourth offense is to vilify scriptures or Vedic knowledge. The fifth offense is to define the holy name of the Lord in terms of one's mundane calculation. The holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord himself, and one should understand the holy name of the Lord to be non-different from him. The sixth offense is to interpret the holy name. The Lord is not imaginary, nor is his holy name. There are persons with a poor fund of knowledge who think the Lord to be an imagination of the worshipper, and therefore think the holy name to be imaginary. Such a chanter of the name of the Lord cannot achieve the desired success in the matter of chanting the holy name. The seventh offense is to commit sins intentionally on the strength of the holy name. In the scriptures it is said that one can be liberated from the effects of all sinful actions simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who takes advantage of this transcendental method and continues to commit sins on the expectation of neutralizing the effects of sins by chanting the holy name of the Lord is the greatest offender at the feet of the holy name. Such an offender cannot purify himself by any recommended method of purification. In other words, one may be a sinful man before chanting the holy name of the Lord, but after taking shelter in the holy name of the Lord and becoming immune, one should strictly restrain oneself from committing sinful acts with the hope that his method of chanting the holy name will give him protection. The eighth offense is to consider the holy name of the Lord and his chanting method to be equal to some material auspicious activity. There are various kinds of good works for material benefits, but the holy name and his chanting are not mere auspicious holy services. Undoubtedly, the holy name is holy service, but it should never be utilized for such purposes. Since the holy name of the Lord, the holy name and the Lord are of one and the same identity. One should not try to bring the holy name into service of mankind. The idea is that the Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer. He is no one's servant or order supplier. Similarly, since the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord, one should not try to utilize the holy name for one's personal service. The ninth offense is to instruct those who are not interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord about the transcendental nature of the holy name. If such instruction is imparted to an unwilling audience, the act is considered to be an offense at the holy name of the Lord. The 10th offense is to become uninterested in the holy name of the Lord even after hearing of the transcendental nature of the holy name. The effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord is perceived by the chanter as liberation from the conception of false egoism. False egoism is exhibited by thinking oneself to be the enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world to be meant for the enjoyment of oneself only. The whole materialistic world is moving under such false egoism of I and mine. But the factual effect of chanting the holy name is to become free from such misconceptions. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Kristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Nama Sheshtam Manumapi Sachi Putramatra Sarupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurupurim Matarim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Patita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natmasmi Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalago Vande Nantad Bhutashvayam Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhum Nichopi Yat Prasadat Sad Bhakti Shastra Pravartaka Nityananda Maham Nomi Sarvananda Karam Param Harinam Param Devam Avaduta Shiromanim Jai Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vancha Kalpatarubhishya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Vrindaye Tulsidibhaye Priyaye Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Paridevi Satyavachai Namo Namah. There's a nice story about Srila Prabhupada. He was in Geneva, Switzerland, and the temple president there, his name was Guru Gauranga, a very brilliant devotee, speaks 6 languages. He arranged for Srila Prabhupada to speak to, I believe, the mayor of Geneva, very big man, important man. He agreed to come and meet Srila Prabhupada. So he came into the room, he sat down, Prabhupada greeted him, and Prabhupada asked him, "Do you have any question?" The man said, "No." So Prabhupada opened harmonium and began to sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, accompanying himself with harmonium. For 20 minutes, he sang Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then he said, "This is what we do. This is what we do." And that was the darshan. And this is what we do. We chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now someone may ask, why are we spending thousands of crores, lakhs of crores of rupees to build temples, to distribute books? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't come to teach deity worship. He didn't come to distribute books. He came to promote nāmas and kirtans. So why are we doing these things? Someone may criticize. We're opening temples. We're building magnificent temples all over the world. Even just in Delhi, 17 beautiful white marble temples are there. Just in Delhi NCR. All over the world, 850 ISKCON temples and centers are there. Why? We can sit under a tree and chant Hare Krishna and become perfect, become lovers of God just by singing holy name, just by chanting japa. Why are we doing this? Why do we distribute books? Just to bring people to the point, that sacred day in their life where they accept japa mala and they begin to chant the holy name. Because this is what we do. We're promoters. We're preaching the holy name of the Lord. Because what are we promoting? We're promoting Krishna. Nāma chintāmani Krishna chaitanya rasa vigraha purna shuddho nitya mukto binatam nāma nāmino. That the name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. They're equal and identical forms of the Lord. Mantra amurti amurtikam. He has no form that we can see and touch and worship, but he's amurti, but amurtikam. He's Supreme Lord in the form of sound, Shabda Brahman. Purna, he's complete. Shuddha, completely pure. Nitya, eternal. Mukta, he's not part of this world. Binatam, nāma nāmino. So we promote this understanding of Krishna. Now there are three classes of men that have been described in this verse. Yoginām, nirvidyamānānām, and icchatām. Icchatām means a person full of material desires. And what do we see in society? 99.99% of people are in this classification, icchatām, full, overwhelmed by material desires. Kama rupena konteya dushparena analina cha. Trying to satisfy kama, which is never to be satisfied, as much as one can never satisfy fire by supplying fuel to it. But this is their life. Trying to be happy by sense gratification, and over again. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma yadindvaya pritaya appanoti nasadu manya yata atmanoya asannapi kleshada asadeha. And what do they get? Kleshada. A body that is full of unhappiness and misery. Over and over again, doing the same insane proposal. I will be happy in the material world. This is the class of 99.9% of the world. Icchatām. So how to help them? How to introduce holy name? We build temples. Srila Prabhupada said, by cultural conquest we preach. By temple worship, by festivals, by food, by dance, by drama, by music, to attract their senses to Krishna. To see the exquisitely, beautifully decorated form of the Lord. To say, here is God. Here is His beautiful form. You can worship Him. This is the practical application of manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. How to think of God? Here He is. Radha Krishna, Radha Madhav, Ashtasakis. Fix your mind here, not on some impersonal void, zero, nothing. How do you think of nothing? You can't think of nothing. You can think of something. You can think of form and quality and beauty and mercy. This is the form of the deity in the temple. So manmana, to think of Krishna in the temple. Madhyaji, to worship Him. To namaskar, to bow down to Him. Without deity worship, how will you worship God? If you want to offer rasgulla to Him, we take rasgulla, throw it in the air. Here, Bhagwan, catch. How can you give it to Him? There's a process. Pancharatriki vidhi, Archan Marg. How to offer to God. How to offer prayers to Him. How to offer your obeisances to Him. How to develop a relationship with Him. This is deity worship. For the masses of people. This is why deity worship is described as being for neophyte devotees. But are all the worshippers of the deity neophyte devotees? Not at all. Srila Prabhupada walked into our Los Angeles temple back in the early days when the Fate Museum of today was the Los Angeles temple. He would walk in the back door, and then he'd walk to the altar, take Charanamrita, come back, sit down on Vyasasana, and give Bhagavatam class. It's a long building, maybe half again as long as this room here. He walked through the back door and stopped and said, there is something in Krishna's eye. Chota, Dwarkadish and Dwarkanath. Dwarkanath is the Utsav deity, the small Krishna deity. He stopped and said, there is something in Krishna's eye. So the Pujari went up and he looked very closely. And he said, no, Srila Prabhupada, there's nothing in Krishna's. No, there is something in Krishna's eye. So we looked again more, and there was a tiny, infinitesimal fleck of tilak left in Krishna's eye by the Pujari who bathed him. How can Srila Prabhupada see from the back of the room? small utsav deity, tiny fleck of tilak. Krishna is complaining to Prabhupada, your disciple, your shishya has not done a proper job. You please rectify the situation. This is deity worship. So if we establish this principle that here is God, Krishna, Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Pakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tambham Bhajami. That he has form, he has beauty, and you can worship him, you can have a relationship with him, he will talk to you. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, Bhaktya tanannaya shakya aham vidam vidorjano Gyatum drashtum cha tattvena pravishtum cha parantapa. By this process of bhakti, he says, Gyatum, you can know me. Drashtum, you can see me eye to eye and face to face by ananya bhakti. He's not unknowable, he's not zero, he's not void, he's not formless, he's not nirakar Brahman. He's the Supreme Personality of God, and he's waiting to have a relationship with us. How do we do that? Through Harinam. So to preach Harinam, the essence of our presentation, we open temples. We distribute prasadam. Everyone, who doesn't love to eat? Everyone loves to eat, so to engage this propensity to eat good food, don't eat this, eat this. Eat delicious food. Everyone is going to the club to dance. People like to dance. Srila Prabhupada would call it ballroom dancing. Who doesn't love to dance? Come dance here, not in the club, in a drunken stupor with someone. Enough said. Dancing in the club, dance in the mandir. You love to dance, then dance in the mandir. People go and they go to the movies to see some drama. And they cry. What is a movie? It is simply light projected on a flat surface and emotional music. And people go and they cry. Kal ho na ho. Oh, kabhi kushi, kabhi gham. And they feel sad, they cry. If they don't cry, if there's no emotional response, they don't feel they got their money's worth. Or they feel very fearful. Oh, it's some scary movie. Or some drama they're holding under their seat, exploding helicopters and guns and motorcycles and girls, and it's just light on the screen. They're paid actors. There's no substance to it whatsoever. They're not in love. There's nothing to be afraid. It's light on a screen. There's no substance to it whatsoever, but people love to see a drama. So we do drama also to present the beauty of chanting holy name. Srila Prabhupada used to participate in drama. He'd play Advaita Charya. And his acting troupe would take so much careful practice and time that when they presented the drama before the public, people would gather around and the whole audience tears would stream down their face, appreciating the mercy of Gauranga. So drama, food, music, who doesn't love music? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So hear this music, the most charming music of the holy name of Krishna. So Prabhupada said, cultural presentation. But what is our message? To chant holy name, to capture these people, icchatām, who are full of material desires. Yoginām. Yoginām people, they're self-satisfied. Mostly. They're also siddhi-kami. Some yogis are siddhi-kami. They want to develop some mystic perfection. They become smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, lighter than the lightest. Prakamya, control people's mind. So many, the 8 mystic cities. These are not imagination. Srila Prabhupada told a story how his father, Gauramohan De, took him to see one yogi. Because Gauramohan De was very inclined towards spiritually minded people. He would even buy them ganja. These so-called bogi yogi sannyasis would come. Even to accommodate their desire, he'd give them ganja. Okay, you like this, so have this. So he took Prabhupada to take his son Abhay, our Srila Prabhupada, to see one mystic yogi. So the yogi asked Prabhupada's father, what would you want? Anything you like to have? He said, yes, I would like to have pomegranate. He said, go in the next room. In the next room on the table, not just pomegranate, but the whole branch with leaves and pomegranate fruits attached to it. These things are not impossibilities. Even as a child, there used to be a TV program I used to watch it called You Asked For It. And people would call in different requests to see some mystical thing or some amazing feat. So they put one yogi. They said, are these people really stopping breathing? So they took one yogi and they put him in a barometric chamber with no oxygen. And they attached all kinds of sensors, electrocardiogram and all different machines to his body. And he's actually stopping breathing. These things are possible by yoga. Actual yoga, not this bogus yoga we see all over the world. They say International Yoga Day, but what is it? All cheating. Yoga doesn't mean just asana. Yoga means ashta siddhi. Patanjali Yoga means 8 processes of yoga, not just asana. People cross their legs and do jnana mudra. Now I'm a yogi. Yoga begins, yoga indriya samyama. The first proposition of yoga is control your senses. If these yoga studios taught that, every yoga studio in the world would close tomorrow. What do they do in America? They have yoga studio in the mall. And you go in and they sell you a little yoga mat and a little yoga outfit, kurta pajama. And you go with your yoga girlfriend and you do asana. And they call this yoga. It's all cheating. Complete cheating. Yoga means, first proposition of yoga, indriya yama niyam, rules and regulations, do's and don'ts. But they practice yoga for losing weight, for increasing their capacity for sense gratification. All cheating. So yoginām, this chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is for yogis also. That they can achieve the highest, because prema is unavailable by yoga. Only by bhakti yoga can we get prema. And bhakti yoga begins, atak Śrī Kṛṣṇa nāmādi, nābhavigrāyam indraya sevan mukhi jevado swayam eva spuratyada. Yoga, bhakti begins with what? With nāma. We conquer Krishna not with our eye. We don't see Krishna with our eye. We see him with our tongue and with our ear. By vibrating holy name and hearing name with our ear. This is the process for conquering Krishna. How to see Krishna. Not with your eye. Everyone wants to show, if there is God, the atheists, they challenge. If there's God, show him to me. Where is he? Our response is, are you qualified to see? Can you walk in to the Prime Minister's office, Narendra Modi? Just walk in. Hey Narendra, come on, you and me, let's do dosa, masala dosa, come on, let's go. You can't get past the front door of the state building. He's a human being. He's a very pious, powerful man. But after all, he's only a human being. And you can't even see him. What to speak of being able to see God? There's a qualification to see God. Bhakti, which begins with chanting holy name. So the yogis, they'll never get prema. At best, jnana avastita tadgatena manasa pashyantiyam yoginah. Best, they'll see Super Soul, Paramatma, Lord Vishnu within their heart. They won't get Krishna. They won't get Braj Prem, Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, Devaki Nandana, Murli Dhar, all these beautiful names of Krishna. Viva Vareshesha, Aloka Pravesha, Nidrachari Uttajiva. Not as our acharyas describe, the original Swayam Roop Bhagavan, Krishna, the source of all other avatars. They can't touch that. So for icchatām, holy name. For yoginām, holy name. And for nirvidyamānānām, for the devotees, also holy name. What is their process of self-realization? Holy name. This is perfect process. Other processes, for example, in puja, where will you find something pure in this age? They say that water, if it touches iron, becomes contaminated. All our water comes through iron pipe. Where will you find fruit in the market? Someone hasn't looked at, oh, I want to eat this. They touch it, they push it, they squeeze it because they want to eat it, and then they reject it. And we should buy that and offer it to the Lord? Where do you find something pure in this world? Very difficult to find something pure, to worship the Lord, to offer that's suitable, a suitable offering for the pleasure of the Lord with purity. So Shastra says, mantratas tantratas chidram deshakala tavastuta sarvam kuroti nischidram anusankirtanam tava. Wherever the chanting of the holy name is there, everything becomes perfect. When Srila Prabhupada installed Krishna Balaram, Radhe Shyam, Gaur-Nitai, in our beautiful Krishna Balaram Mandir, he was obliged, he said, in one purport in Bhagavatam, I think Bhagavatam, that I'm obliged to hire at great expense some pujaris to do elaborate installation ceremonies so that people will accept this as a bona fide installation. But what did he say? As far as I'm concerned, the Harinam Sankirtan was complete in itself for installation. Sarvam Kuroti Nishyanam, all Nishtam, all inauspicity, any lack, everything is finished. Nāmānukīrtanam, wherever the holy name is there. This is the value of chanting holy name. Because this can be done by anyone. One of the last things my wife and I did before we left Denver, Colorado and moved to ISKCON Sandy Ridge, Prabhupada Village, where we stayed for 10 years. We went on Harinam Sankirtan. It was New Year's Eve, and 15 devotees got up, took some rest, then got up at 10 o'clock and went to downtown Denver, Colorado, New Year's Eve. There's 40,000 people on the street, and about 39,000 of them were drunk. This is how people celebrate. Waste money, destroy your health, vomit, make a fool of yourself, and this is how they become happy. So it's a yearly ritual. So 39,000 drunk people, and we're having Harinam Sankirtan. And they're enjoying it like anything. The police had come and break up this because we're blocking traffic. 100 people had come join with us, and they have their hands in the hands. Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Hare. They're drunk. But they've joined Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. Their whole life is perfect. They joined the Sankirtan party. They chanted the holy name. Can those same people sit and do smaranam? Ashtakali Alila, smaranam? Can they sit and chant japa even? What are they qualified for? They're qualified to go to hell. But anyone can join the Sankirtan party. Brajendra Nandana se Sachisuta Hoilo se Balaram Hoilo Nitai Papi Tapi Jata Chilo Hariname Uddharilo Tara Sakshi Jagai Madhai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna and Balaram came. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, to uplift the most sinful fallen persons. What is the proof? Jagai Madhai. So what kind of world are we living in? Full of Jagai Madhais. So how to uplift them? Harinam Sankirtan. This is what we do. This is our process of self-realization. Perfect process. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's name is so merciful. Many beautiful verses come in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam, the story of Ajamil. Sanketyam parihasyam va stovam helanam eva va vaikunta nama grahanam shaga haram vidu. Sanketyam means, as Ajamil called for his son, he wasn't calling the Lord when he saw the Yamadutas, and he was full of fear for his well-being, seeing the ghastly, horrific form of the Yamadutas. He called for his son, Narayan. He wasn't calling for Chaturbhuj Narayan, the deity of his childhood. But because he chanted the holy name, Asheshaga Haram Vidu, he was relieved of all sins. Ajnana Datavagyana Uttama Shloka Nama Yat Sankirti Damagam Pungso Dehedato Yatanala. Just as fire burns through dry grass, a field of dry grass is reduced to ashes by fire. In the same way, anyone who chants the holy name of the Lord, whatever sin is there for millions of lifetimes, is reduced to ashes. This was a Jamil. He called for Narayan, his son. But the Vishnu Dutas came, Narayan Dutas, representatives of the Lord, came to pull him back to Vaikuntha because he chanted holy name. This is Sankityam. Parihasyam means in joke. When we were new devotees, we would go on Harinam Sankirtan. Back in the 70s. And now many generations have grown up with the devotees. Everyone knows Hare Krishna. They say, oh yeah, Hare Krishna. But back then they'd look at us and think, well, where's your spaceship? Where are you guys from? And we pass out our mantra cards. Chant this mantra and be happy. Chant Hare Krishna, be happy. And they'd read H-A-R-E, not Hare, hair. Like a rabbit. So they joke, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then they say, or Shiva, no, hairless Krishna, ha ha, hairless Krishna. But their tongue is checked, their tongue has touched Krishna. Asheshaga haram vidu. They become free from all sins because their tongue, they're chanting in joke, but their tongue has touched the name of Krishna. This is the mercy of Krishna, how available Krishna is in the form of his name. This is parihasyam. Stobam means for musical entertainment. It's like George Harrison. He was very dear to Srila Prabhupada, actually. They asked him one day, George, when are you going to get initiated? He said, I'm already initiated and I have a spiritual name. George, Hari's son. He was very dear to Prabhupada. He did so much service. But he was a musician. He's a businessman. He makes music to make money. So he's singing holy name. I don't remember the exact lyrics, but he said, I really want to see you. I really want to be with you. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. He's singing holy name for musical entertainment, and practically speaking, millions of people were singing Hare Krishna Maha Mantra by his influence. When the devotees connected with George Harrison in London, literally millions of people bought this record, Hare Krishna record album, Hare Krishna temple album. And they're all chanting, they don't even know what it means. Even, I remember going to one concert before I met the devotees. His name was Baba Ram Das. He became disciple of this bogi, Nim Korali Baba. So he was putting on a concert. So concert was he's sitting on a stage with a mat in Tanpura, and he's singing Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So 300 people were singing Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And we sang it all the way home. We were so blissful. Ram Nam came to us. But we were thinking like, what is a Shri Ram? You know, what is an apple? What is an orange? What is a Shri Ram? What is a Jai Ram? We had no idea what it was. But holy name came to us. Musical entertainment, concert, George Harrison. But when we touch the holy name, when the holy name comes to our tongue, Aho patasapachoto gariyan yajjavargri vartate nāmānukīrtanam te pustapaste juhuvur sasnaraya brahmanuchur nāma ganantiyete Devahuti, sent to Kapila Dev. That whenever the holy name, whenever we see or wherever we see and whatever kind of person we see, the holy name is on the tip of their tongue, jivagre. That in their last life they've done all kinds of austerity. They've given charity. They've done tirtha yatra. They've taken holy dips. They've studied shastra. Whatever is required, they're actually Aryan, even if they're born in a family of dog eaters. So aho bhatta. How amazing, how extraordinary this is. So this is holy name. Also in this same section, it's described etavan evalokesmin pumsa dharma parasmitaha bhakti yoga bhagavati tan nāma grahanadibi. What is religion? This is religion, only actual religious process according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma projita kaitaratro paramo nirmatsaranam satam. We completely reject prakrishna rupena nipat. We completely reject cheating religion. And what do we find in Kali Yuga? All cheating religion. All cheating religion. They go to the masjid, the mandir, the gurudwara, the synagogue, the church, and the mandir also, and they bow down and they pray to God, please give me, please solve my problems, make me happy, make me healthy, make me wealthy, do this for me, you're my servant. Even I saw one man in our Punjabi Bagh temple. He had 10 rupees in his hand, 10 rupiah. And he's offering to Krishna Balaram like this. Then to Radha Radhikaraman, Jagannath Swami. Then he takes it, goes around his head like this. Then he puts 10 rupiah in the hundi. And he folds his hands. Oh Bhagwan, I've given you 10 rupiah. Now you please give me 10 crore. This is our understanding of God. He's my order supply. Ring the bell, say the prayer, bow down. Now give me. Make me happy in this material world. We're not interested to stay in this material world. Our relationship with God isn't based on staying here. Our relationship with Him is to leave this world and never come back. Never come back here. Yad gatva nivartante tad nāma paramam mama. Yad gatva. When we go there, we never come back. Who wants to come back here? This is religion. This to please. Krishna is waiting for us in Goloka. When will you come? Jeev jago, Gaura Chandra bole. Kota nidra jao maya pisha chirako. How long will you sleep on the lap of the witch of Maya? How long? He's waiting for us to wake up and chant holy name. Nāma grantiyete. This is the process of religion, the genuine process of dharma in the age of Kali. Because this chanting holy name of Krishna contains everything. Dana vrata tapastirtha yatra dina chayastito shaktayo deva mahatam sarva papa harashubha rajasu yashamenanam gyanasya yatma bastuna akrishya harina sarva stapita sweshu namasu. Krishna explains, Puranas explain, that whatever benefit is available in dana, in charity, in austerity, in tirtha yatra, in study of shastra, whatever religious process is there, the Lord has compressed all of that. He's distilled the benefit of all of those things in His name. We don't lose anything from chanting holy name. This is the process of religion in this age. Gokuti dhanam grahane kagasya prayaga gangotaka kalpavasa jagyayutam me rusavarna dana govinda kirtir nasamam shatam shai. Srila Prabhupada mentions this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It means that if you give 1 koti, 10 million cows in charity on eclipse, or you give 1 Meru mountain of solid gold in charity to the Brahmanas, or you stay at Prayagraj, Triveni, for 1 kalpa, millions of years, how much benefit is there? How much punya is there? Incalculable punya. But Govinda Kirtan Nasamam Shatam Shai, it doesn't equal 1 fragment of the benefit of chanting Govinda. Please chant Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. So this is our process. This is what we do. Because what is the fruit of chanting Harinam? The fruit of chanting Harinam is Krishna Prem. From Krishna Nam, we get Krishna Prem. There is no other way. Nasteva, nasteva, nasteva. Not by jnana, not by karma, not by yoga. This is the process. And this is explained here. For any class of person. Any class of person can take this. Whether you're devotee, Whether you're number one materialistic karmi, whether you're yogi, no matter what you are, this is the process of perfection because this gives us Krishna prema. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Does anyone have any comment, question, reflection, or correction?
Thank you very much for a wonderful class. Yesterday, some phenomena happened. One Mataji was fainting and also couldn't breathe very well. She had a 2-year child, so she decided maybe somehow or other I go to Harinam and I'll be taken care of. And certainly, sure enough, she was completely taken care of. She was taken to a doctor. She doesn't want to go to allopathic medicine. She was taken to a doctor. She was given medication and she was taken back home with her child. So having faith in this holy name actually gave her this wonderful positive result.
Yeah, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki.
Jai.
One great Vaishnava poet, he prayed, Diyatam diyatam karno, niyatam niyatam bachaha, giyatam giyatam nityam haranamaiva kevalam. The holy name is everything. That recite the holy name over and over with your mouth, hear the holy name over and over again, sing the holy name over and over again, because the holy name alone is everything.
Thank you, Guruji, for giving your wonderful class on the glories of the holy name. I just wanted to ask that just by indicating to the holy name, not indicating to the Lord, all the sinful reactions gets washed away. But we see that there are the devotees seems to suffer and seems to have some problems in their life. So how could we understand these things?
Sometimes devotees think that spiritual life is utopia. I'm chanting Hare Krishna. I've accepted bona fide spiritual master. I'm following rules. I'm worshipping the deity. I'm reading books. Why am I getting old? You think you're not going to get old? You're not going to become diseased because you're devotee? There's no utopia in the material world. Shastra tells us that suffering of a devotee is minimized. Suffering of devotee is minimized. But that suffering for devotee is actually the cause of our advancement in spiritual life. One can ask, why is there suffering? Some people say, if there's a God, why is there war? Why do little kids get run over by trucks? Why is there disease? Why is there theft? Why is there rape? Why are there so horrible things in this world? If there's a God, why did He make it like this? If He made it utopia, we'd never want to leave. We'd stay here in the material world, separated from Him forever. But He says, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This is the concomitant factor. Dvandva mohena bharata. Because we've come here wanting to enjoy, we're obliged to suffer. It's the nature of it's a world of duality. You want happiness? Fine. But you're obliged to accept distress. You want health? How long can you be healthy? You'll also become diseased. You want youth? Enjoy your youth, but you'll also become old. This is the nature of the world. It's a world of duality. So we should wake up and understand that one day it's my body on the bank of Ganga, if I'm fortunate, on a stack of wood, and someone is lighting the fire. This is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. We don't hide everything. In America, they put you in a box, they close the box, and everyone tiptoes around. They don't want to look at it. No, we say, here it is. And people will think, smashan bhairagya. This is my body someday. This is my future. Ashashvatam. We cannot stay here. And dukkhalayam. It's full of suffering. So just because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, that Krishna is supposed to make your whole life wonderful and beautiful and full of satisfaction and sense gratification and supplying every little whim, every little speck of whimsy, material desire. It's not Krishna's job. It's not His business. So that suffering is a cause. When Kunti Maharani prayed, Vipada santuta shasvat tattva tattva jagat guru bhavato darshanam yatsad apunar bhava darshanam. Because when I see suffering, what do I see? I see you. And when I see you, I don't see apunar bhava darshanam. I don't see birth and death anymore. So when devotee suffers, we should take that as mercy. Harishe taddanam shanai. Prabhupada said this is the first installment of Krishna's mercy. He takes everything away. It's also mercy to give, but it's also mercy if he takes everything away. This is Krishna. And we should understand ourselves. This is, if we don't, this is tattva vibrama, thank you, tattva vibrama. That you don't understand the philosophy. You're supposed to be happy here. God's your order supplier. Hare Krishna, give me what I want. Hare Rama, now I want this, now I want that. That's not why we're here. That's not why we become devotees. We become devotees to leave this horrible place. Any other short question?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much for your wonderful class. In this text, the nirvidyamānānām, icchatām and yoginām, all three categories should be doing harer and nāmānukīrtanam. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yoginām api sarvesām madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate jumam same yuktatam mata. So Krishna divides here shraddhavan. The shraddhavan people very dear to Krishna. And in your class just we heard parihasyam, even if in joking way, if we chant Krishna's holy name, Krishna reciprocates. So can you please explain the difference? I mean, Krishna categorizes the pure devotees who with love who chants his holy name is very dear to
As there are different kinds of pure devotees, there's many different kinds of yogis also. Karma yogis, jnani yogis, hatha yogis, raja yogis, kundalini yogis, all different types of yoga. We're not interested. It can't help you. Mad gantanatan shraddhavan bhajate yo mam. What does that mean? Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam. What does it mean? He who worships me with faith and love. Same yuktatamo mataha. I consider Vasudeva para yoga, he's the goal of yoga. The goal of yoga, Lord Krishna is saying, I consider this person, Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam, he's the topmost yogi. He's leaving this world. Natad bhasyate shoyo na shashankuna pavago yagatva nirivartante tadama paramamama. They'll go back to Goloka, back to Krishna, because Krishna is the object of their worship. They're worshipping me with faith. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. They're worshipping their everything for Krishna. So he is also yogi, but there's no comparison to a karma yogi. Karma yogi, this much for you, Krishna, this much for me. This much for you, this much for me. This is yoga. It's a yoga route. It's a step on the path, but it's not the goal of yoga. This is the goal of yoga, to become Krishna Bhakta. It's after 9 o'clock. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai.